What up, everyone? Me, Jaden. Welcome back to another video by my own channel, by my own name. And we have to talk about a lot of NBA games, all in one video. Gotta start with maybe a team that's playing. We're gonna start with a team that we know, a team that has some issues in the offseason. That had issue with D2 stars about are they gonna play for the team anymore? Are they gonna, the sitter even playing with each other? And then we had the problem with Mr. Who missed like 8 games because of a suspension. Because let's start with the Brooklyn Nets. Earlier in the year, when they had Steve Nash being the coach, they was 2-6 to start the year. Had the second worst record in the entire Eastern Conference at that time. But now, ever since Steve Nash have not been the coach, the Brooklyn Nets have won 16 of last 22 games. Ever since the 2-6 start, they have won 16 of their last 22, and they went from 14th all the way up to number 4 in the East. That is something else. And some of that time without Kyrie, when they started making the run, and then once he come back, and they started winning games, and here they are. They're 4th in the East. They're only 4 games back from first place, so they're not that far. They can come out be first place, but Kyrie in the Nets and Ben Simmons are all playing their butts off, and I can't imagine giving them more trading what they already deserve. The Brooklyn Nets are one of them teams that you need to look at to possibly win the championship. And I know the last couple of years have not been good for this Brooklyn Nets team, and we talked about for the last 2 years about the Brooklyn Nets are the front runner for the championship, the front runners. So you have Kyrie, you have Harden, you have Tate, Kevin Durant, but then Harden leaves. You trade for Ben Simmons. The Brooklyn Nets are still one of them top 5 front runners to win the championship. And don't forget, they were number 1 out of that top 5 to win the championship. It would even Stephen A. number 1. But look what happened to them in the first freaking round to the Boston Celtics. They got swept. Kevin Durant and Kyrie only averaged 17 points a game. Only averaged 17 points a game against the Boston Celtics. And Kyrie and KD both only had 130-plus game in that series. That's not good. When you have 2 superstars of talent like Kyrie, who's probably the greatest point guard we've seen ever, and Kevin Durant, one of the greatest backup players we have seen in the history of the NBA, you can't lose like that. You can't lose and just swept the way you did. And I know Boston had a great defense, and Tatum and Brown and Smart locked them up. But still, when you have 2 stars on your team, you can't lose like that. You just can't. But they did, and they had Smart coming into this year. Suggs are they gonna be fine? And right now they're fine. And they beat the Toronto Raptors 119 to 116. Kyrie Irving had the game winner. So the title is gonna be Kyrie Irving. Well, the title is gonna be Brooklyn Inverted Raptors. Kyrie Irving game winner. And the other game is gonna be Nudge Inverted Lakers. LeBron had like 30-plus points, so we're gonna be 2 different games on my title today. So we'll get into the Lakers. Kyrie Nets are looking good. The Lakers are looking. I don't really know. Lakers are not looking the best. They have some stretches. They won some games, but they still have more wins. The Lakers started out 2-10, worst record in the West, and the second worst record in the entire NBA. I think worst record in the entire NBA. I think, yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at my odds. Look at the odds, man. Look at the odds. The Lakers have played better. Anthony Davis have looked like one of the best players and probably the front runner for MVP right now. Obviously, Tatum and Giannis are the front runners right now. But if I I think Anthony Davis, he's my threat runner for MVP. If you look at the last 10 games, 10, 12 games, Anthony Davis has averaged 31 points a game, about 14, 15 rebounds a game, 3 blocks a game, 5 assists a game over the last 12, 13, 14 game stretch. And during the time when he was averaging them, and it was one game, he had 55 points. 55 points. How is Anthony Davis not in the top 10? Why is he not one of them top 10 players for MVP? Why he isn't? And I know you have all the other players, right? Luka, you have Giannis, you have Tatum, you have Ja Morant, you have Zion is playing his butt off, you have Jokic, you have Embiid, like you have Curry, you have Jokic, you have all these other players, but I think Anthony Davis should be one of them top 10 players for MVP. But he's not. Instead of him, it's Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid have not even been playing at an MVP type of level this year. He has some games when he's been playing good, but he have missed more games than Anthony Davis have missed. AD had played more games. He's been more healthy this year than what he was last year. So I think Anthony Davis should be one of your top 10 players for the MVP race. Zion and Ja, they were going back and forth, man. I can't imagine two young stars like them two going back and forth for MVP. Both of them guys are at the top of the West. Morant is number 1 in the West. Zion is number 2 in the West. Both of them guys are going back and forth against each other in the West about who is going to be number 1. Who do want to be number? Who do not want to be number 2? They're going back and forth. And now them two guys played with each other the last game of December. The last day of December, I mean. So you gotta look at the odds. If I'm picking anybody to be, if I'm picking 5 top players to be the front runner for MVP, my top 5 would be, I think Tatum and Giannis are 2 of my top 5. Them boys are playing their butts off. So you gotta put them in there. You gotta put Morant. You need to put Zion in there, definitely. And you already need to put Jokic up in there. So Jokic is a beast when he plays. A beast. If not, I will put I will put between Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant. If them guys play the way they are for the rest of the year, put them in there. That's my top 5. But fully, my top 5, if they see the way he played, 1, Zion, Morant, Tatum, and Giannis. That's my top 5. The Lakers did end up winning. They ended up beating the Nuggets, so the Lakers did record is 12-16. So they're not playing too bad. Then it's another game, the New York Knicks, man. The Knicks, what a stretch they've been on, man. A 6-game winning streak. They run to the Chicago Bulls. They run the Bulls last night. I can't imagine the Knicks playing better, and I believe Stephen A. is happy with what he has seen from the Knicks. Obviously, the Knicks, they've been playing. I remember in 2021 when the Knicks went on a 9-game winning streak, and Stephen A. was all happy and pumped up. He's saying the Knicks are going to be one of them top dogs. Maybe they'll into the Eastern Conference Finals. But what happened? They lost in the first round in a 5-game series on their home floor. Never mind. Knicks are on a 6-game winning streak now. They're sitting in the East. Harder than a team did for the rest of the year. I don't know. We'll find out. Well, one more game. The Warriors and also Anthony Davis did get injured last night. Anthony Davis got injured last night. That is bad. He got injured last night. He hurt his foot, I think, or his ankle. I don't know what he hurt, but he only played 16, 17 minutes last night. So he wasn't as explosive as he normally is, so that's bad for Lakers fans. You always see him getting injured. It's the NBA, man. You don't see that way Anthony Davis get injured, man. He's an injured player. Also the Warriors played the Sixers last night, and the Warriors got smoked in the fourth. The Warriors did put up a fight, but at the end of the day, Joel Embiid and James Harden are just too much. We don't have Steph Curry for the next 3 or 4. We don't have Steph for the next 3 weeks. It's gonna be tough. And speaking of that, Stephen Curry got injured a couple of nights ago versus Indiana. He played a back-to-back. Stephen Curry played his first back-to-back of the year, and look what happened to him. That's why the Warriors were not playing back-to-backs. So they didn't want to injure their best players. But when you at the bottom of the West, when you're at 10th, 11 in the West right now, you need to play your stars, man. You can't rest your stars. You're 10th in the West. But now you're 11 in the West because you lost last night, so you can't rest your stars. So if the Warriors, you can't rest Thompson, you can't rest Draymond, you can't rest Jordan Poole on a back-to-back. You can't rest Andrew Wiggins on a back-to-back. You need to play your stars as much as possible so you can get back in the West. So you're not even in the top 10 now. You need to play your stars as much as possible so you can get back in that top 6, top 10, whatever. You need to play your stars. And since Steph Curry's not playing, Thompson, Poole, Draymond all need to go off for the next 3 weeks. If the Warriors want to have any chance to stay in the West. If not, the Warriors are not going to make the playoff this year. I'm telling you, man. I don't care if it did 3 weeks. If the Warriors don't make a little push, they are not going to have a chance to make it to the postseason. They are not going to have any chance to make it to the playoff. Any chance. Hit the try button, hit the like button, get a video thumbs up. Night, night.